The Democratic Republic of Congo is usually known for two things: poverty and an abundance of resources. It is considered by many to be the wealthiest country in the world. At the same time, 72% of its population lives on less than $1.90 a day. It has a large population of 89.5 million people with an average age of just 17 years, yet their average income is around $500 compared to Belgium, its former colonizer, whose average income is $50,000. The estimated value of its natural resources is around $24 trillion, yet its GDP, the value of everything produced in the country, is around 50 billion. Everything from oil, fertile land, valuable materials like cobalt and lithium to a young population who can extract these resources are available within its borders. Yet what should have been an African superpower and one of the richest countries in the world is largely a failed state. It is one of the world's most corrupt countries and cannot provide even basic services to its people, with infrastructure being non-existent in many parts of the country. Worst of all, it seems that this misery will not be ending anytime soon. How did Congo reach this position, and who is responsible for this failure? Joseph Desire Mobutu, or as he would like to be known, Mobutu, the all-powerful warrior who, because of his endurance and inflexible will to win, goes from conquest to conquest, leaving fire in his wake, is the first name many will think of when this question is asked. Mobutu seized power in 1965. This was his second coup, the first on removing Patrice Lumumba from power. After taking over, he became a dictator for the next 30 years, during which the purchasing power of a DRC citizen would be just 4% of what it used to be before his coup. All the provinces were abolished and power was concentrated with Mobutu. He nationalized all the industries and handed them over to his friends and family, who began enriching themselves. The country's infrastructure collapsed, although he did build a dam, so that's that. His corruption would allow him to loot around $5 billion from the country and keep it in Swiss banks.
How do I make this? Oh, please, God, someone, please. Let me do this. Yes! No! Fuck!
At the same time, Congo would default on its debts. His reign would end in 1997 when he decided to give support to Hutu extremists from Rwanda, after they had genocided 800,000 Tutsi and 1 million total victims. The Rwandan government wasn't in the mood for tolerance, so they, along with a group of other countries, began supporting rebel groups in the DRC, or Zaire at the time, and they themselves also invaded to oust Mobutu, who at the time was seeking treatment in Switzerland.
How do I make this? Oh, please, God, someone, please. Let me do this. Yes! No! Fuck!
His army collapsed, with the rebels making quick progress. The reason they weren't quicker was because the infrastructure was so bad and mostly non-existent, it hampered their progress and slowed their advance. After being deposed, he would die in Morocco from prostate cancer on the 7th of September 1997. So Mobutu, right? He is the reason why Congo is where it is today. Well, not really. Mobutu definitely ruined the country. But how did he get in power? Why was he able to conduct 2 coups without anyone stopping him? Where was the judiciary, the parliament, the institutions that could prevent his power grab? Why didn't the global community step in and prevent him from taking power? For me, Mobutu is simply the cause of many bad decisions made by countries like the United States, Belgium, and the power-hungry Congolese political class at the time. In 1885, Leopold II established the Congo Free State as his personal property. To enrich himself, he brutally exploited the people and resources of Congo, committing various atrocities. As many as 10 million people are believed to have died under his rule. After much international outcry, the Belgian government stepped in and took control of the territory, establishing it as a colony. Belgian rule, which still exploitative, was much better and conditions improved in Congo. By 1960, after a year of protests and the emergence of leaders like Patrice Lumumba and Joseph Kasavubu, Congo achieved its independence. Things, however, didn't look good. The new state had only 16 university graduates out of a population of 20 million. The bureaucracy had 3 Congolese out of a total strength of 5,000. The country did not have proper institutions for a well-functioning democracy. Power in this diverse of a country was largely concentrated in the center. This would cause immediate tension in the provinces. The two main leaders, Lumumba and Kasavubu, couldn't agree on a proper way to share power and created this weird system where one would be prime minister and the other would be president. They already didn't get along, and this wouldn't improve things. The black officers in the army then mutinied as they expected promotions and higher salaries. The mutiny would take a lot of time to resolve, but would end up with Major Victor Lundula being appointed general and commander-in-chief and Joseph Mobutu being made colonel and army chief of staff. Due to political instability and support from Belgium, the state of Katanga declared independence from Congo. South Kasai also declared independence, supported by a Belgian mining company. Lumumba, the prime minister, sought outside support, but neither the UN nor the West in general would provide help. He then turned to the Soviets, who provided support to put down the rebellion. This alarmed the West, who feared Lumumba to be a communist. After reports of atrocities committed by Lumumba's men in South Kasai, Kasavubu, supported by the West, announced that Lumumba would be removed from power. Parliament rejected this, so then Lumumba tried to remove Kasavubu from power, which also didn't work. Stuck, Mobutu took advantage of the situation and, urged by the West, removed Lumumba from power. He would be captured trying to flee and would later on be tortured and killed. After the UN stepped in and Katanga surrendered, Mobutu conducted a second coup and became dictator. It's been 24 years since Mobutu's reign ended, and things aren't necessarily better for Congo. It is still very poor and underdeveloped, and the current political establishment haven't been able to improve things. The DRC is a great example of what happens when a country has very weak institutions and power-hungry people ready to take advantage of it. Instead of a superpower, it ends up becoming a failed state.